Then as men learned to grow crops and raise animals for food, many forests were cleared away. Only a small proportion of the original forests survive. Yet man depends on forests. Forest catchments supply man with clean, pure water. They supply timber for building and fuel, and for manufactured products like paper and cardboard. All over the world, human populations are expanding. Demands for material goods are rising. Increasing demands are being made on forests to provide living space and forest products. Yet the timber for one house uses all the wood grown for 60 years in an area twice the size of a suburban block. The paper needed for a weekend edition of one of our daily newspapers uses all the timber grown in 10 hectares of forest in the same time. Clearly then, if forests are to continue to supply our needs, appropriate measures are needed to conserve them. Choosing the right measures depends on knowing the forest itself. This is an Australian forest. Trees are the most conspicuous organisms, and in Australia, they are usually eucalypts. Other forms of plant life are also abundant, for a forest is a whole community of living things. From time to time, seeds of trees and other plants fall to the forest floor. There, some grow into seedlings and ultimately replace plants which have reached the end of their life. Climate is part of a forest. Rain, humidity, sunshine and temperature all affect the life of the forest. Fires, too, are part of the life of many forests. Natural fires are started by lightning, but man has added to their frequency and severity. A wide variety of living things are part of the forest, wherever there is suitable food, shelter, and breeding places. Flowers and foliage of the trees, for instance, support a whole variety of animals. These are lorikeets. Bees. Ants. The koala. The larva of a cup moth. Beetles. the caterpillar of a gum emperor moth, the adult moth, and a whole range of other insects. Birds range from eagles and crimson rosellas to honey eaters, and insect-eating birds like fantails, and many more. The yellow robin is another bird which nests and feeds in the forest. Other animals find suitable living places on the tree trunks and branches. A tree creeper. Where branches break from trees, hollows are often formed. These provide shelter for some animals. Sheltered by the trees overhead, small plants on the forest floor are grazed by animals such as wallabies. Insects, too, may be abundant near the ground. Leaves, twigs, branches, even whole trees fall to the ground in all seasons. This forest litter supplies the needs of a further range of organisms. Dead remains provide food for others. Scale insects may provide ants with food. Ants and termites, in turn, are food for animals like the spiny anteater. Blue wrens feed on insects near the ground and nest there. The litter of plants and the remains of animals are progressively consumed by other organisms. The substances produced are taken up again by the roots of plants. In Australia, many forest animals only become active as evening approaches. A wombat. At night, a frogmouth may be seen, or a boobook owl, or a feather-tailed glider. These animals are rarely seen in daylight. This is a greater glider. All gliding possums have a gliding membrane between the front and back legs. This is a pygmy possum. Sugar gliders have a different diet. Possums are also food for other animals, like the powerful owl. Bush rats feed at the forest floor. The toadstools it's eating are living in turn on forest litter. The potteroo is a small rat kangaroo. Brown phascogales forage for insects amongst the forest litter. The tuan prefers larger prey. So, in the forest, there are organisms which depend on trees for food, and in turn provide food for others. And these may sustain others again. The forest also provides shelter and breeding places. Some organisms need the dead remains of others, such as cast-off leaves and dead timber. All of these organisms produce wastes, which as chemicals and gases are used again by trees and other plants. Any appreciable change to any one organism in that community is likely to affect a whole series of others in turn. Man needs a forest's resources. His problem is to manage his use of forests in such a way that the whole forest community survives. For some years now, the management of many of the world's forests has been entrusted to foresters. Wise forest management depends on knowing the nature of the community itself and the way in which it functions. Mapping the community is part of this task. The needs of various forest users, including the beekeeper, have to be considered. Knowing what is required for regrowth determines what trees are harvested and when. A knowledge of the impact of fire can lead to appropriate fire control measures. Today, too, more people are using forests for recreation. To visit a forest may be a welcome break from the stresses of everyday life. Visitors are capable of affecting a forest too. Enjoyment of the forest makes an impact on the forest itself. This too needs to be understood. By discovering how many people are visiting forests and what activities they wish to pursue, foresters can plan so that visitors receive the benefits they seek, yet have only a limited effect on the forest. Walking tracks, for example, together with other facilities, can be provided.
gully looks a bit...
Tracks can be located where damage to the forest will be as little as possible.
Yes, I think that would be a better idea.
All right, well, we'll head off in that direction then.
Okay.
Right. Round to the right.
Today, the increasing needs of people threaten many of our remaining forests. Yet man is part of this world and has a right to be here. Forests will continue to meet his needs only as long as his demands are made with caution. They will survive only if forest use is based on an understanding of the life of the living forest.